Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Full 90. Today it is time for the Week 20 predictions of the Premier League. For those of you that are interested, here are the winning accumulators we've recently given to members, actually delving into the Egyptian Division 1, which I used to do a lot more back in the day. And I want to give a shout out to all the new members that have joined the TF90 Super Tipsters since the last video. Aaron, Chris Banjo, Project 101, Josh Baukaut, Sakwan Quotes, Patrick, Tashina Wilhelm, Alex Bang, J.A., Payam Masood, Davido Jr., Goji Bushi, SK Soria. Unfortunately, I don't speak that language. I can't even begin to try and pronounce that. Ines and Yusra. Shh. If you do want to support the channel and also get members-only tips and interact more one-on-one with me in the comments of the members' posts, then be sure to click the join button down below or the first link in the description. And of course, like everyone here, you get a shout-out in the next video that I post. And you'll see them in the comments down below when they have a little badge next to their name. My goodness, there's some value. There's some big games. It's Derby week. We have the Manchester Derby, the North London Derby, basically the two biggest derbies in the Premier League, and I cannot wait. Kicking it off, we do have Aston Villa up against Leeds. I do think Leeds will be able to get on the score sheet. However, I'm going to give it to Aston Villa at home. I think Villa are slowly starting to make their way up the table. I'm going to go for not 22. That would not be likely. 2-1 to Aston Villa. My tip is both teams to score at 1.66. Next up, it is the Manchester Derby, and this is a really, really tricky one. As you can see, Man United, one of the form teams in the league, and I really, really like what they're doing. Man City just coming off the back of a shocking loss to Southampton in the League Cup. As an Arsenal fan, I obviously would have preferred City to go to the next stage and play 2 extra games, but it is what it is. I think this is going to be very, very close. It's weird, but the Manchester Derby seems to always go to the away team. I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to City. I hope it's not. Again, I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't think Man United can catch up to us, but I think Man City could. So I'm going to go for 1-0 to Man City. My tip is Man City to win at 1.8. I'm praying for something else. I do think Man United are a really good team, and because they're so solid defensively as well, if we look at their recent results, I mean, you've got 3-0 Bournemouth, 1-0 Wolves, 3-0 Forest, and 2-1 Fulham. 1 goal in 4 games. That's pretty spectacular. And City's, they beat Chelsea 1-0. They drew with Everton. They beat Leeds 3-1. And they lost to Brentford 2-1. So this really could go either way. And because of Man United's defence, I'm going to keep it low scoring. I'm just going to edge it to Manchester City. After this is Brighton up against Liverpool. I'm not entirely sure on this one. I do think Liverpool are the likely winners, but I'm going to try and get a differential and predict a result that not many people will predict. I think more people would even predict a Brighton win over a draw, just because a draw, it's not very fun predicting a draw. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between Brighton and Liverpool. I believe they drew 3-3, maybe the last time they played each other. I think Liverpool at odds of 2, given the position they're in the league, they've got to try and push. If they get this win, they'll be 2 points behind Spurs. I think it's likely that Liverpool win, but I'm going to try and get a differential with 2-2. My tip, therefore, is both teams to score at 1.5. After this, Everton up against Southampton. Southampton working wonders in the Cup. Don't think it's going to happen at Goodison Park. I'm going to give Everton a much-needed win. This is a very, very big game. This is a massive game. Everton need to win. And if they do, all of a sudden, obviously, if we ignore all these other results, even if one of these win or whatever, Everton would go up to 13th with a win. It's so close at the bottom. This is so important. Southampton, on the other hand, if they get a win, they would go up to 15 points and be right in there up here. So it's one of the biggest games of the week, weirdly. So I am going to go for Everton to win, and my tip is Everton to win at 2.22. I think they're better than Southampton. I think Everton are, over the last couple of years, one of the most consistently underperforming teams based on basically the attributes and what they've got. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Everton. After this, it's Forest up against Leicester. Both teams sitting on 17 points. I could see a draw. I could see a Leicester win. But I'm going to predict something a little bit out there. Go against the slight favourites and go with a 2-1 win to Nottingham Forest. I just don't know how this is going to go. Leicester have let me down a couple of times recently. You think when they should get a result, they just don't. Losing to Fulham at home, that was a pretty big one. Lost to Liverpool, that was unfortunate, and then they got battered by Newcastle. And Forest just came off a good win against Wolves in the Cup on penalties. Their confidence will be high. They'll see this as a winnable game. And I'm just going to give it to Nottingham Forest, which puts them on 20 points, which is a really nice bit of distance between them and the drop zone. So my tip is actually going to be both teams to score at 1.75. This could go either way. That's why the result, I mean, this is literally 50-50, as you can see here. After that, it's Wolves up against West Ham. This one was really difficult. I think Wolves are looking better under Lopetegui, and they are showing more attacking threat going forward. I mean, you saw that in the cup tie with the XG of 2, and I mean, the recent result there, a draw with Aston Villa is not terrible, I guess. West Ham are also in terrible form. Again, another bottom of the table clash. I was going to go for a 1-0 win to Wolves, but West Ham should be better than them. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Wolves could win this, but West Ham should be doing better. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. After this, Brentford up against Bournemouth. This is one of the easier ones to predict. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Brentford. I mean, the form speaks for itself. Brentford are a better team than Bournemouth. And it's the Battle of the Bees. Get it? See what I did there? I thought that was pretty cool. My tip is actually Brentford -1 at 2.62. So Brentford to win by 2 or more goals. I think Brentford are that good. And they're not the kind of team that would face a team like Bournemouth and take it easy. I feel like Brentford play pretty much everyone with an equally high intensity. And I think that's to be admired. And I think there's a reason Brentford are in 9th and Bournemouth are slowly dropping down the table towards the relegation zone. And I think this result is quite likely. After that, it's Chelsea up against Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a Chelsea win. I don't know if they beat Fulham. Fulham are without Mitrovic, and that game is happening tonight. My tip for that would probably be both teams to score, by the way, at I think 1.75. I wouldn't... Chelsea should beat Fulham, but you never know. Chelsea should definitely beat Palace. They beat Palace all of the last 6+ times they've played them, home and away. They always beat Crystal Palace. Palace are a little bit hit and miss, and Chelsea need a result. And if they don't play João Felix against Fulham, which I'm not sure if they will, surely they start him against Crystal Palace, get him in as quick as possible, and I think Chelsea can finally get a win. So my tip is Chelsea to win at home, 1.64 against a team like Palace. That should be, it should be a banker. It's not, but it should be. Now after that, we have Newcastle up against Fulham. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Newcastle. Newcastle's defence is too good, and they are good for scoring goals. They're going to win this one. I'm going 2-0. My tip is Newcastle to win at 1.51. It's a nice little one to add to a parlay or that sort of thing. This one here now, ooh, I predicted this in September. I predicted Man United to win 2-1 away. Probably wouldn't change that. Maybe I'll change it to 2-0. Just a testament to Man United's solid defence. I'll come back to this one in a second. There's another fixture, Man City Tottenham. I predicted 4-2 back in August. Would I change that now? I'll probably make it a little bit less mental and go 3-1. So similar sort of result. And now Tottenham versus Arsenal. I really struggle with this one because Arsenal don't typically win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham won the last 2 times. Arsenal won the North London Derby 3-1. I think that result flattered Tottenham. Arsenal battered them. But the last one at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham won 3-0. So it's really difficult for me to pick. I'm going to go with my heart over my head on this one and go for a convincing Arsenal win. I don't think it's going to be that convincing. But then again, if Arsenal come out the traps as well as they did against Tottenham in the last fixture and as well as they seem to be doing against everyone, I could see this happening. I'm not going to tip the result market. I'm not going to tip the goals market. I thought about both teams scoring over 2.5 goals at 2. So it might be worth a shout. But Granit Xhaka to be booked at 2.25 is pretty good to me. It's a North London derby. I think there's going to be bookings. You could look at both teams to receive 2 or more cards at 1.61. Not bad, but if Arsenal are going to receive 2 cards, one of them's probably going to be Granit Xhaka. At 2.25, I quite like the odds there. So here are my picks, as you can see, and let me try and make a little accumulator for you for this week 20. And there you have it. Feel free to take any one of the 4 out and make it a little treble, but I think those 4 look really good. Man City to beat Man United. If anything, if I was going to be safe, and let's say for the sake of this video that I am, I'd take out Man City, but feel free to take the 4-fold as well. Here you've got Brighton and Liverpool both to score, Newcastle to beat Fulham, and Brentford to beat Bournemouth. So basically, the home sides to have a good day out. And I think that's, I mean, that treble, I don't see how that fails. Unless Liverpool fail to show up and Brighton win 1-0, I think Brighton score, I think Liverpool score, and I think Newcastle and Brentford take the victory at home. But we'll add this one back, so you got a nice little 4-fold. You could back both, if you're confident. So that's going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like, leave your predictions down in the comments below. And like I said, if you want to join the channel, get exclusive members-only tips, and support me as well, you can click the join button or the link in the description. Nevertheless, that is going to do it from me, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.